Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is the Glendora Library, and we're very pleased to have Mr. Phillp Verbera of the LA County Register Recorder's Office here to answer questions about voting in the upcoming November 3rd election. Phillp, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. And thanks to Glendora Library for having us. In this time of pandemic, it's extremely difficult to get the word out to the public. So every opportunity like this, we definitely appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's talk about the election is November 3rd. So when is the deadline for people to register to vote in that election if they have not done so yet?
In order to register for the November election, the deadline is October 19th.
Okay, October 19th is the deadline. Now, is walk-up registration available?
Absolutely. What the public refers to as same-day voter registration, we call it conditional voter registration, will occur at every vote center beginning on October 24th. So a person who misses out on the deadline will have an opportunity to go to a vote center, register, and cast a ballot on the spot.
Very good. So, of course, two ways to vote: voting by mail, voting in person. Most of us probably received a vote by mail ballot by now. If someone has not received a ballot by mail, what should they know or what can they do?
So if someone hasn't received a ballot by mail, first they can go online and check their status to ensure that they are currently registered, that they're addressed, that they're an active voter, and they would go to lavote.net for that. Now, if they are active and they have not received their ballot, and most of their neighbors have, keep in mind there have been some postal delays, and there are some neighborhoods that are still receiving. Then they can reach out. We have an 800 number listed there, and they can report the issue there. We'll research it, and if we find that the person wasn't sent a ballot, we'll immediately send one out. And we have other options too, but we will continue to communicate with the person from that point on.
Okay, great. So if I'm sitting at home, I have my ballot, I filled it out. What should I know or remember to do before turning my ballot back in, my vote by mail ballot?
That's a great question. So one thing we always want to remind voters is to always sign the back of your ballot, right? Sign and date your ballot. The other thing is, if you're going to have someone submit your ballot on your behalf, they will have to sign and date it also. Now, the thing I like to remind people is the law has changed and says anybody can submit your ballot on your behalf as long as you authorize them to do so. However, what I like to remind the public is please only surrender that ballot to someone you absolutely know and trust.
Okay, yeah, absolutely important. And what are people's options for turning in a vote by mail ballot?
That's a great question. In LA County, we're not about taking options away. We usually like to expand upon options or make it more efficient. So our voters have three options for submitting their vote by mail ballot. One, they could drop it off in a mailbox or hand it off to their postman and go with USPS. And we have some tracking methods in place that I could discuss there. So if you are using USPS, the second option is to drop off at one of our official county vote by mail drop boxes. I believe we have one right there at City Hall. You can find a listing of all official drop boxes at our website, lavote.net. And I can provide links to the library too, so you can blast those out to your membership and such.
Yes, thank you. You're correct. There is a voter drop box right behind City Hall here next to the library. And of course, if anyone is having trouble locating that, give us a call. The library will be happy to direct you to that and other locations as well.
And there's one more way they could actually drop it off. So once the vote center's open, you can drop off your vote by mail ballot at any vote center during the voting period. And we will have a separate drop box near the entrance. It'll be staffed, of course. One thing I do ask voters, if you are dropping off at a vote center, as you approach, wave that ballot in there and let them know, hey, I'm just dropping off. That way you're not required to get in queue for voting or anything. You can drop off and be on your way.
Okay, awesome. So that was voting by mail. A lot of people are actually going to vote in person instead. So if you're going to vote in person, how do people locate their voting or polling locations?
That's another good question. So there's a number of ways you're going to be able to find out. One, if you have access to a computer with internet, you can log on to lavote.net. And again, you could access the listing. You could search by Glendora and see just the ones in Glendora, or you could access the entire listing there. Now, in addition to that, in about a week, we will be mailing out a booklet that has every single vote location in the county, one booklet to every residential address. So every household in Glendora will receive a booklet that lists all locations. In addition to that, each registered voter in that household will receive a postcard that lists 3 nearest locations to them. However, keep in mind that since we've implemented voting solutions for all people, you now have the ability to vote at any vote center in the county and still have access to your Glendora ballot. You will not vote provisionally. You will not miss out on any of our local measures, contests, or candidates.
Yeah, that's a change, and I love the flexibility personally. You can, it's worth repeating, you can vote at any LA County voting location. So when you get off work, if there's one close to where you work, go there. One close to your home, go there. You can go to any LA County voting location to cast your ballot.
Yeah, and I would encourage people to vote early, right? During the primary, 3/4 of all the people that voted on election day. For years, we've heard people asking us, hey, can we vote on a weekend? Can we vote on a Saturday? We now have 2 weekends to vote. Please, let's take advantage of that. It costs money to run elections. Let's use it.
Yeah, there's no excuse now. So many ways to do it.
Yeah. All vote centers, just so folks are aware, all vote centers will be open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day, with the exception of Election Day proper, November 3rd, where we will have our traditional and legal hours of 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay. So when you show up to vote, if you're going to vote in person, what should I bring with me when I show up to vote at my at LA County voting center?
So the only thing we're asking you to bring is your vote by mail ballot. Since every registered voter for this election due to the pandemic is receiving a vote by mail ballot, if you're going to vote in person, we do ask that you bring that and surrender that.
Okay. Do I need to bring an ID?
There are no ID laws in California. However, if you are a first-time voter that registered and did not provide driver's license or social security number when you registered, you may be asked for ID. And now that's a federal law. So that's why it supersedes California law. But again, it's a very specific case. It's a first-time voter who did not provide specific pieces of information when they initially registered.
Terrific. Phillp, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely.
And once again, Glendora Library, if you have any questions about voting, give us a call, 626-852-4891 during business hours. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you at the vote center.